This is a pot of simmering water, and this is not a cooking show. Kwentuhan lang tayo while I am cooking my own version of SHAKSHOUKA, or eggs cooked in tomato sauce. Obviously, we will be needing tomato sauce, and I will be making mine from scratch. Quite simple actually, just salted water, scored and cored tomatoes, like so. And we let it boil until the tomatoes are soft and skin starts to peel right off where we scored them. So while waiting for the tomatoes, I am gonna go ahead and prep the other ingredients while I introduce you to the Kitchen Prodigal. What is it? Why on earth did I name it as such? And what the hell will I be publishing, selling, and what not? Okay, let's go. You guys have probably heard of the parable of the prodigal son. That pasaway na anak who took his inheritance from his father and left home but eventually came back. That right there is my brand inspiration. How so? All my life, since I was in high school, I have dreamt of working in the kitchen, living the chef life, building my goal around it. And I did go for it for real. Joined and won several culinary competitions back in college, worked at a restaurant, and quite frankly, climbed up the kitchen brigade pretty fast. In a matter of 15 months of working in the kitchen, from being the executive chef secretary, I have managed to work my way up to the CDP or chef de partie position. This went on until I decided to work in the United Arab Emirates. At the tender age of 23, I was managing the whole back of the house department of a group of cafes in Dubai. And that is when the passion burned out. I realized that working in the kitchen usually entails being undercompensated in exchange of all the extreme physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion that you experience. Just like the prodigal son, I got out and left the kitchen. I ventured into a different profession in my industry and actually ended up liking it. Better working conditions, benefits, and most especially better compensation. But there was something wrong. Something was missing. I was missing something. The heat, the pressure, the joy, and warmth of doing what I truly am passionate about. Cooking. Going back to the kitchen and cooking. Giving birth to this brainchild of mine, the Kitchen Prodigal. In this channel, I will be serving you recipe videos weekly, and I'll also be selling homemade, handcrafted artisan goodies, which will be available for shopping on the Kitchen Prodigal's Facebook page. Now that that is cleared and settled, let's go back to cooking that shakshuka. So we've already rough chopped some garlic. Now I am slicing one whole piece of white onion and setting it aside. Now we would also be needing a cup of ground beef, a few strips of bacon of your choice, and tomato paste. Cover the brand because this ain't sponsored. Now we want to check on our boiling tomatoes. We want them soft And we want the skin sort of lifting off where we scored them. Just like so. Transfer them into a bowl with ice or cold water. Now we are gonna let these bad boys cool down for a bit before we peel them. Once they are cool enough for you to comfortably handle them, we peel the skin right off. Now it is time to make that tomato sauce. Using a hand blender or a chopper, just like what I have here, we blend the boiled tomatoes until you achieve your desired consistency. For this recipe, it is more desirable to have a chunky tomato sauce. For other usage or recipes, it is totally up to you. Okay, so this is the ideal tomato sauce consistency. As you can see, like what I said, chunky. Now we need a non-stick pan, set to low heat, and add in oil. For added fragrance and of course flavor, we could use flavored oil like what I have here. It has rosemary and garlic, if you have it. Otherwise, you can use plain cooking oil. Add in the bacon and leave them to sear and sweat because we are gonna use that beautiful and tasty bacon fat to saute our other ingredients. We also want our bacon crispy because we are going to chop it and garnish our shakshuka with it later on, right before serving. Now, in that very same pan, using the bacon fat, we will be sauteing our garlic and onion. Add in some salt and pepper. And cook until garlic is aromatic and onion is translucent. We then add the beef and cook until meat is light brown in color or caramelized. Once we achieved that light brown caramelized color of our beef, we will be adding about a tablespoonful of tomato paste. And of course, our tomato sauce. Let it simmer for about 5 minutes in low heat. Before adding in a half teaspoon of paprika, cumin powder, cayenne powder, dried rosemary, and dried basil. Give it a bit of a stir and let it simmer for another 6 to 8 minutes. Now, after 6 to 8 minutes, we want to check and taste our tomato sauce. And then we adjust the seasoning to our liking. That would be the salt or the pepper. And you can also add more of the chilies, like the cayenne powder that we added before. Once the taste and the seasoning is good for you, it is time to add our eggs. We want to make 4 divots, or holes in the sauce for obviously 4 eggs. And then slowly and carefully add in the eggs in each of the divot. Cover and let it simmer for another 6 to 8 minutes depending on how you want the doneness of your eggs. I like mine well done, so I let it simmer for 8 full minutes without removing the pan's cover. And basically that's it. Garnish your shakshuka with the chopped bacon, and you can also garnish it with some parsley if you have feta cheese, cream cheese, or basil. Traditional shakshuka is usually eaten in breakfast with kubus or any flatbread. In my case, I will be enjoying this spicy bad boy as my early supper with some white bread toasts. And yes, this is me eating right off the pan with complete disregard of having any sort of serving spoon and just diving in there with my toast. Oh, damn it, that is hot. And there you have it, the Kitchen Prodigal know-abouts over my very own version of the Middle Eastern breakfast, shakshuka, or eggs cooked in tomato sauce. See you guys again soon for my next recipe videos, and see you on Facebook para sa mga online products ko. Damn, these bad boys are good. Thank you for watching.